Practice Examination 1 for TLM. You should have your revision sheet alongside you, and you should have read and revised from this before you take this examination. First 10 questions are multiple choice. Make sure you answer all of the multiple choice. There's no advantage in leaving a gap. You plan to work with a team across the world on a project that involves sharing ideas, the best tool to use. Pause this video and write down your answers. The answer is a wiki page. Things like Wikipedia allow people to share information. It's an online wiki. Question number 2. Which of the following operating systems would not require a paid-for license? Pause the video, write down your answer. The answer is answer B, Linux. It's a free open source operating system that will manage your computer. Question number 3. Word processing software makes working more efficient because it allows. Write down your answer and pause the video. The answer is answer C, redrafting, so you can do things several times over and just edit the parts that you think need improving. Question number 4. An example of bad IT security. Write down your answer and pause the video. The answer is A, staying logged onto an internet cafe when you leave, so somebody then can just hop onto your computer and edit your work or your profile. Question number 5. Which standards were not used to help develop one of the open standards were not used to help develop one of the following systems? So one of the following systems, or 3 out of the following systems, had various different people working on them, open standards, so different people could work on them collaboratively. Write down your answer, pause the video. The answer is answer D, BlackBerry. They didn't have different people working on it. It's not an open standard piece of software. Question number 6. Which of the following word process document formats, so these are all files that can be saved from different Word documents, is recommended by the UK Government Cabinet Office? Write down your answer and pause the video. The answer is B, an ODT file. They're used by the government. Open source software. A short sequence of instructions in a spreadsheet increase your efficiency is called. Write down your answers, pause the video. The answer is a macro. A macro allows you to record a sequence of instructions and then play it back for repetitive tasks. Question number 8. Which of the following is likely to be the most expensive element when moving to an open source IT system? Pause the video, write down your answer. The answer is training the staff on the new software. Training staff is always expensive. Number 9. Which of the following would be an example of a quantitative, that means using numbers, measure when creating a spreadsheet design? Pause the video, write down your answer. The answer is B, calculations. Calculations involve numbers. Question 10. If someone sends you an email claiming to be your bank and requires you to contact them with the details, it is an example of. Pause the video, write down your answer. It's likely to be a spoof website, and that's an example of phishing, where someone copies a website and allows you to, or makes you think that it's real and will enter details into it, and they steal your personal details. 2-mark question now, so you need 2 points. You need to make 2 points. Your friend emails you with some photographs while they're on holiday using an internet cafe. What 2 things should you consider before downloading these photos? Pause the video, write down your answer. The first main one is that attachments can contain viruses, so you need to have antivirus software on there. And the next thing is it might be too large to fit on your disk space, so you've got to check the size of it. 2 things for 2 marks. Question number 12. Your school network contains a lot of important data about staff and students. The school thinks that they can save money by moving all this data into a cloud-based system. A cloud-based system is where you're using a server off-site like Facebook uses a server in Los Angeles to store all of your information. What 3 critical processes should they make sure are available for 3 marks? So 3 points now. Pause the video, write down your answer. So you need to build backup, keep a copy of your data. That probably is the most obvious answer. The next thing as well, you've got to consider if it's a school and it's computer based, what other things need to work on the network? And the answer is CCTV. So CCTV cameras are now digital. You need to make sure that they're going to work as well, so that you don't end up losing CCTV footage. And probably locks for staff fobs, staff using fobs on the system. They're also digital as well. Or intrusion detector systems that will also allow you to have burglar alarms as well. So think about the other things that are happening on the system as well as computers. Question 13. A new social networking site, so something like Facebook or Instagram, has entered the market called LO. They're really struggling to get customers away from Facebook despite offering the same services. 2 reasons why you think customers won't move to LO. Pause the video, write down your answer. Facebook's a known brand, so people are used to Facebook, so they tend to continue with something that they know. That's worth 1 mark. And they don't want to start again, so they don't want to start learning how to use a new piece of software. Four-mark question now. Your school has moved most of the systems into the cloud, so onto a remote server, a server somewhere else in the world, including the ability for parents to track and control their child's lunchtime menus. Provide 2 clear examples of the benefits and limitations of this action. So we want 2 benefits and 2 limitations for 4 marks. You've got to write down 4 things. Pause the video, write down your answer. Benefits is that parents can access the information anytime they want to, so it's almost on demand. And they can see and control what their child is eating. So if they're eating too many sweet things or too many unhealthy things, then they'll know about it and can potentially put a stop to it. Limitations for parents are that you need the internet to be able to access this, and the system might also be hacked. School doesn't monitor it is another example, because if it's based in the cloud, then another company manages it on the school's behalf, although that's probably less likely to be one of your answers. Number 15. A company you work for uses a well-known desktop software to do sales spreadsheets. They ask you for 2 advantages for them to move to a free cloud-based spreadsheet system. So something like Microsoft Excel, why don't you use a free version instead? So they want 2 advantages. Let's see how many marks it's 4. It's 4-2. So 2 main advantages they would gain. Pause the video, write down your answer. Don't have to pay for licenses or to support the software. So in other words, it's free. They're going to save money on licenses and software support. Also, this spreadsheet is going to be automatically updated, so whoever runs the remote software, a bit like an app, gets updated all of the time. So they don't need to worry about things being updated and improved. Just like an app, a cloud-based system gets updated by the people, the community running the free software. Question 16. Your school is going to allow students to use their smartphones in lessons to access a VLA as virtual learning environment, to access things like the website and Moodle to be able to get information to help them with their lessons and to improve results. Explain 2 advantages and 1 disadvantage to this move. So this is for 3 marks. Pause the video, write down your answer. So using smartphones, then you could upload work from your smartphone as you're doing it, and you can also make audio and video files for your work. That's worth 2 marks. You can use apps as well. That would be another advantage as well. So you could have any 2 out of those 3. Disadvantages are distractions, things like games. That's a fairly obvious one, that people might decide they're going to go use their phones for things other than they should be doing to access their lessons. Health and safety issue, maybe bend your neck or it's a small screen. But I think the main disadvantage is distractions. That's what schools would be worried about most, that students would then start playing games when they should be doing their work. Question 17. Your school has a competition for students to design a new logo for paper poster, websites, etc. Why a scalable graphics format, sometimes called an SVG format, or sometimes it's called a vector graphic, is a better choice than a JPG. 3 marks. Write down your answer. Pause the video. Your answer is that an SVG is based on an object, so what it is it's points on a grid, and when you move those points on a grid it just makes the shape larger. You don't lose any quality and it doesn't increase the file size. So that's an advantage, is that you can increase the file size of a vector graphic or a scalable graphics format because it's based on objects and points on a grid. Increasing the file size, increasing the size of the object does not increase the size of the file, so it's not going to take up any more disk space and you don't lose any quality. You can also make a JPG file. A JPEG file is based on dots, so it's based on the dots on the screen called pixels. You can make a JPEG file if you decide you want to from an SVG file. So you can save an SVG file as a JPEG, but you can't save a JPEG as an SVG file without losing some of the quality. Question number 18. When buying computer equipment for a new school build, there are direct costs and indirect costs. Give 2 examples of indirect costs. The direct cost is actually buying the equipment in the first place, but there's other sort of hidden costs. They're called indirect costs. Give 2 examples of indirect costs. Pause the video, write down your answer. So things like maintaining the system, keeping it going, upgrades would be worth another mark, putting other software on it like antivirus software, staff training, all of those are other examples of things that you're going to have to pay for. So indirect costs are your ongoing costs after you've initially purchased the equipment. They're the direct costs. Question 19. Your friend needs a presentation program for their own personal use. What would you advise them to use and why, for 3 marks? Pause the video, write down your answer. I think the easiest thing to write about is that you can get free presentation programs. So if you get a free one, they're going to save some cost. You've got to be careful that whatever package you use doesn't lock you into certain file formats so that you can import and export information from that package. And also so that the files that they produce can be shared easily over the web so that you can email them or upload them to things like social media.